Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys is another movie review. Today we're tackling the new DC film, The Batman, coming out today, March 4th. I know a bunch of people saw it early because, you know, why not? I wish I could, but whatever. So today is the official true release date of the film and I got to see it. And man, there were a lot of, I guess, conflicting elements to this film even before it came out. They were like, oh, The Batman, it looks so dark and brutal and violent, and it's going to be rated R. And then Matt Reeves is like, PG-13. And they're like, oh, crap, it's going to be for children. No, let me, two things straight. PG-13 is not for children, it's for teenagers, and those are two different things. Children and teenagers are different things in terms of franchise land. Maybe not real life, I don't care, that's a debate, but objectively, children, teenage, adult, there's three different sanctions for films. Second, this film is dark, violent, and brooding. However, it's not just that way to be that way. So this is going to be a non-spoiler review, and then I'm going to do a spoiler part in the end. So it's not going to be that long, because really this is about a 3-hour-long film, and it kind of goes by quickly, and it also doesn't. There's a lot of really interesting things that happen. Of course, Robert Pattinson is Batman. I've never seen Robert Pattinson in anything before. I never saw Twilight, The Lighthouse, or whatever the fudge. Nothing. I just knew, oh, he was in Twilight. He's the sparkling, pale man that's in that film. And, I'm like, man, even my dad and I were like, you can't take, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, hell, even Michael Keaton. You know what I mean? Freaking Val Kilmer, even George Clooney, to some extent. I mean, no, okay, not him. But, there's a lot of Batmans where, like, okay, I could see that guy being Batman. I could see him being Bruce Wayne. I could not see Robert Pattinson as Batman. I'm like, this guy's freaking, he's like some kind of snowflake, weird-ass looking, gremlin troll thing. I'm like, this is not Batman. Batman's badass looking. And surprisingly, he surprised me, because he is not my favorite Batman, but I will tell you this version of Batman, Robert Pattinson's, not only acting ability, but the Batman itself, the figure of Batman in this film, is better than anything Christian Bale did as Batman. I know you're probably going to hate me, but that's my opinion. I don't like Christian Bale as Batman a whole lot. I like him, but not as, I think for me, it would be Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson as, the top two. My only issue with, Bale was that he didn't really fight too good. He was just kind of, that's all he would do, like every action scene. He'd just be doing this, it's freaking dumb. Once or twice he threw a punch, but 9 out of 10 he's just using his elbows to knee beat Ben Affleck is the best fighter in terms of fight choreography and action scenes, but Robert Pattinson is a little bit below that, but he still is a great Batman in my opinion. I think he's really cool. In terms of the other actors, Andy Serkis, Zoe Kravitz, whatever, I think I say his name. Everyone is great. Jeffrey Wright, I think, Jim Gordon's in. He's black now, and boy, you should have seen when that happened. People were up in arms for the dumbest reasons. My take on this, if you're going to gender swap or race swap a character, don't just do it to pander to a certain audience. Do it because it has a purpose. Thankfully, it had a friggin' purpose. He's just black because he's black. Yeah, that's it. There's no political agenda. It's just, that's the way he is. And he is probably my favorite Gordon. Not because he's black, just because he's a good actor. And he's, it really is interesting because he's working with Batman in this film, A lot of the times Batman's like, hey, Gordon, here's some big pie. And he leaves, And this one he's actually working with Gordon a lot. Batman is in, I think, year 2 of being Batman. And, he's not the best. He's not dumb. But, he's definitely the smartest Batman, for sure, out of any of the freaking, again, maybe he's up there with a little bit of Ben Affleck, but I do think that, he is, smart. But everyone in this film, especially Gordon, really helps him out, and I think that that's a really unique element that, there is this kind of, and look, don't get political in the comments, because I don't want it, but there is some cop F-ups in this film. There are some political and, figurehead F-ups in this film that can pertain to real life. That's all I'm going to say. And I do think that with that going forward, there's a lot of elements to it where you're like, wow, okay, I can understand why Batman's working with Gordon. I can understand why Gordon's working with Batman, or why the police force, the GCPD, why they hate Batman, and so on and so forth. And that's not to say all cops are horrible in Gotham, because, spoilers, they're not all bad, but it is a very unique scene and kind of a, it's a unique trait, because this is, I think, as Joker 2019 was the definitive Joker portrayal, this is the definitive portrayal of Batman. Now, I'm not saying this is like my favorite Batman or whatever, but it's close. But I think that as an film, compared to, the directing, the stylization of the camera shots, the cinematography, the acting, the writing, the action scenes, all that, the pacing. This is probably the definitive Batman film. And, look, yes, it's close to 3 hours, but, if this film was an hour and 45 versus 6 hours, it wouldn't make a difference. The time, I heard people going, oh, well, Justice League was 2 hours, but the Snyder Cut is 4 hours. Therefore, it's better. Like, no. A long length or a short length of a film runtime does not mean anything about its quality. Thankfully, this was close to 3 hours, and it was effing great the whole time. This is not a Batman film for everyone, though. I will say that. I think that, there are action scenes that are really well choreographed, really badass, really cool. It is not specifically an action film. It is a crime noir action, mystery thriller, detective movie. It's a lot of things in one, and that's why I'm saying it's the definitive Batman film. I'm not just saying that because, Batman's punching people, really cool. It really has to do with, it has to do with that, but it also has to do with the fact that he's actually freaking, people say Batman, world's greatest detective. Well, in the Christian Bale movies, he's kind of doing that, but he's mainly just Ben. Ben Affleck. He did do detective work, especially in Batman v Superman, and a little bit of Snyder Cut and all that, but, this version of Batman for sure is the most authentic when it comes to following the actual, comics. Because, a lot of people watch these films that have zero interest in they never read a freaking comic in their life, They don't care. They just want to see a cool action film. And to that, it works. But to a long-life Batman film, myself, I've played all the games, I watched all the movies, the Lego Batman stuff, Lego DC, all that, all this stuff with DC Batman in it. I've read a lot of the comics. I have a poop ton of comics of Batman. And this, to me, felt like the definitive version of that character. Because he's not just, oh, hey, I think you missed a spot over there. He's actually doing things. And I don't want to get into any spoilers, but I think it's good. So the action's great, the CGI is good. There really isn't, to my knowledge, a whole lot of CGI in terms of, there's a CGI bat in a cage at one point. Of course, you've seen in the trailers where Gotham is kind of flooded, so that's not a spoiler. That, of course, they did not actually flood a city and murder a bunch of people. I don't think. To my knowledge, I don't know. Maybe it'll happen in the news next week. But I do think that the CGI in this film isn't that pronounced, where you're like, wow, Batman v Superman, you're like, there's a lot of CGI in this film. And it's good, but you can tell it's CGI. There's a lot of scenes in this film where it looks effing real, because it is real, not the country, not Israel, it is space real, like when you're actually seeing people in water, they're in water, when Batman's freaking flying, he's actually not gliding through a city, but there's a lot of really good close-up camera shots of Batman gliding, or the Batmobile driving, and you see these tight close corners to the wheels. There's a lot of really unique shots that really put you in the moment of that character, and it really grounds it. Not only in reality, but also in the intensity of it. Because this film is fucking dark. It is so intense. You will not believe, man. Now, look. Again, a lot of people, it needs to be R-rated. Look, this is a PG-13 film. And newsflash, again, PG-13 is not for children. You can take a very light PG-13. I recently saw Uncharted. Review is on the channel. And Uncharted is PG-13. Now, it is definitely not a kid's film. It's not for babies. It's for teenagers and above. But there is violence, there is swearing, there is sexual innuendo. Uncharted is not a family-friendly film. But then you get, The Batman, which is the same rating, but it's borderline R material. Riddler is dark and effed up. He's literally, he's not like a dude in a creepy, a cool mask and a cane. Riddler, that's he's killing people. He's hitting them in the head. He's taping their faces up with masking tape. He sounds like he's got a lot of mental issues, and he does, because you'd have to have those to do that shit. But, there's a lot of crazy things where we're like, wow. It really brings me back to not only Joker 2019, but also the Dark Knight trilogy, specifically the Dark Knight. Because a lot of that film, The Dark Knight, is dark. And a lot of the DCEU films, Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Snyder Cut, there's a few exceptions, but a lot of the DCEU films like Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, the Suicide Squad for the most part, a lot of that is not family friendly, but it's more light-hearted in tone. Even if, the Suicide Squad is rated R and there's a ton of F-words and a ton of gore, sexy stuff, it is light-hearted in tone. This is a PG-13 film, not light in tone. The Penguin, he's in there. This was by far the best version of Penguin I've ever freaking seen. And look, I've seen Batman Returns, Danny DeVito, whatever. just some fat wobbly dude with a freaking long nose. I mean, that is Penguin, but this, again, they're not, it's a comic book film, but they're not, you know, saying, like Edward Nygma, his last name isn't Nygma, and I was kind of pissed off. I'm like, come on, you know what I mean? And I get it because, oh, Enigma, riddle, get it? You know, I understand that it'd be a little corny in this style of film. You know, it's like in the Dark Knight trilogy if someone just, you know, started singing. It wouldn't make sense, you know, so I get it, but it's kind of making me mad. But other than that, you know, the CGI, like I said, is great. The acting is great. Batman is really good. The actual stuff that happens in this film is good. There's a few side plots with certain characters where you're like, okay, I don't know where this is going, or it doesn't look. I'm seeing it again in a few days with a buddy, so maybe I'll make a, you know, like a follow-up video, because, you know, for 3 hours, it's a lot to take in. You know, because I've never been asked to really think a whole lot during a Batman film. It's mainly just, okay, Batman beats up people, and this happens, and that happens, and then the movie's over, you know. This is like, no, there's a legitimate effing plot that goes beyond, like, you could dissect this film for a long time type thing. So, overall, look, before I get into spoiler territory, The Batman is, in my opinion, the definitive Batman film, because it does everything that you'd expect it to do, and it does that in spades. You know, I wish there was a little bit more action. You know, there was a lot of talking, there was a lot of detective work, and that's great because we've never really seen that before, and that's, Batman is a detective. He's extremely smart, and normally all we see is him punching the crap out of people. You know, like, you could just get some dude off the street, give him $50, dress him like Batman, he could probably sucker punch some random grandma, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between some random dude on the street and freaking Batman. In this movie, we got Batman, so I'm very happy to say that this is a great film. I knew it was going to be great, you know, I mean, I had these hunches, but, you know, is this my favorite DC film? No, but you know, top 5, I'd have to say, like, Lego Batman Movie, Joker, Aquaman, BVS, Snyder Cut, The Batman, you know, list goes on. But it's up there. It's one of the best DC films I've ever seen in my entire life, and it really is a great film. It's different. Again, it's not for everyone. If you're expecting this movie to be straight-up Batman action movie, you're going to be disappointed. There's a lot of talking, a lot of detail. It really, like, Joker, that film was a period piece of that character. You know, I mean, it was a kind of like a school lesson on Joker, and this is the same thing for Batman, except of course because it's Batman, you need more action. But that's what this is. You know, what I mean, it's very much a let's focus on this character. Basically, the Batman is the Lego Batman movie, except one is a comedy and one is not, because both films have to do with Bruce Wayne and Batman having to kind of you know, dissect their emotions and all that in different ways. So I think that's really unique. But again, I'm going to give The Batman, I'm probably going to give it an A+. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever made, but I honestly cannot think of a single negative. The CGI for what was there was perfect. You know, the acting was great, the writing was great, the action scenes were good, the pacing was pretty good. It was, you know, it paid homage to Batman in a well-meaning way. It was a good tribute to the character. It looked freaking awesome. The shots were insane. The music, you know, dun, 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 like every time I hear that now, I'm going to think of Batman. Like, Joker and The Batman have the best music, I think, out of any DC film ever. Whenever I hear, like, the Joker song, like, dun, 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 or whatever, you know, that, I think of the movie Joker. Whenever I hear the new Batman theme that they play in the trailer in the film a lot, it's like the Wonder Woman, dun, 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 you know, that thing, or like Winter Soldier. You know, these characters have these little jingles, I guess, and this is what they have for the Batman, and it's freaking awesome. So, again, I enjoy it for sure. So, if you have not seen The Batman, that's my review, A+. I think it's a fantastic comic book film that everyone needs to, of course not children, but if you're 13, or maybe even 14, this is pretty effed up. But, you know, you do need to see this film in theaters, for sure. Don't wait till it's on Blu-ray. You know, I don't think it's going to HBO Max or anything like that. Just go see it on a big effing TV screen, or, you know, movie screen, because it is, you know, it needs to be seen on that. So we're going to move on to spoilers. If you have not seen the film, that's the end of this, not the video, but, you know, the actual, I guess, non-spoiler review. So there aren't really that many spoilers to go into. You know, Riddler, Paul Dano, it's kind of dumb because they showed his face in interviews and he's got the same face, whatever. You know, he is locked up in Arkham, and we see Barry Cohen, or Cohen, whatever you ever see his name. He was the dude in the Eternals, Druig in the Eternals. He is Joker. Matt Reeves, the director and co-writer, confirmed it. That's Joker in the prison, laughing. For a second, I thought it was effing Two-Face, because he had, like, Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face, you know, that one. But no, it's Joker. So, you know, that's not saying that, I watched an interview with Matt Reeves, the director, and you know, he wasn't saying, oh, well, Joker's in this film, but that doesn't mean that he's the next villain. You know, when the Batman Begins, you know, Batman's holding a Joker card, and he's like, oh, setting up for Joker in the next movie. Get humped and get humped. Get hyped. You know, don't get humped, get hyped. And get pumped and hyped. And then, of course, you get, you know, in this film, Joker's in it. But it's not saying, oh, Joker's in the Batman 2 or whatever. It's essentially saying that yeah, the Riddler's in Arkham, and yeah, Batman technically saved the day, but there's always going to be, and even Catwoman mentions it, toward the end of the film, there's always going to be, crime. It's never going to be a perfect city. Gotham City will never be truly healed of crime and death and violence. And Batman's like, all right, I'm cool with that. And she's like, all right, see ya. And then they kind of drive off. But I think that's really unique, kind of a poignant ending to leave the film off on that note. In terms of other spoilers, I guess, I'm trying to think here. Alfred gets pretty effed up. I mean, a freaking bomb goes off next to him. This is one of my only, I probably should have mentioned this in my actual review, but it's a bonus. I'm not going to edit it. So, maybe I'm just stupid, because again, I'm seeing it in a few days. Maybe, I'm human. Maybe I just missed the movie, or missed it in the film. Who knows? But Alfred gets basically exploded, and he's in a hospital, and they kind of have a little talk. Batman, Bruce is like, why didn't you tell me, Tom, my dad's an evil person? He's like, no, he's not evil. He just did a bad thing, a lapse of judgment. Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. But in that, we don't see Alfred again. He's holding his hand like we're buddies, and then, as far as I know, okay, don't correct me in the comments because it's a spoiler thing, but I'm going to re-see it, rewatch it, I think, in a few days here, and I'll make a, freaking comment on my community tab or whatever. But from what I remember seeing, the last scene we see of Andy Serkis as Alfred is when he's in the hospital. So I'm like, wait a minute, did he die in the hospital? Is he fine? To my extent and knowledge, again, maybe I'm just dumb and I missed it, but there's no, hello sir, welcome home, anything like that. It's just, he's in the hospital and he's dying, and we never talk about it again. Because the movie's 3 hours long, but we don't have 1 second to talk about Alfred, I guess. I don't know. But other than that, there's not too many spoilers. I think that, Penguin, he is basically scot-free at the end. Catwoman chooses to go her own way. Batman goes to fighting crime. And there's a really great character arc of Batman really starting the film as, I'm vengeance. And he just beats the crap out of people because he's mad. But then he kind of gets a little bit of a heart moment when he sees that young boy whose father was just killed by Riddler. And he kind of sees himself in that little boy. He's like, oh, that was me. He lost both his parents, but, to an extent, that was him. And, he kind of feels regret, like, gosh, I don't want this kid to become like that. And then there's a little character arc moment where he sees him in the end. It's really unique stuff. And it shows that Batman has learned a lesson. It's not just, I gotta beat up people because I'm mad. Sure, he beats up people, but he also has that character arc of, I am not vengeance, I'm more justice now. He's not just the guy in the shadows that beats you up to a bloody pulp, to a cucumber, and then he just, to a vegetable, and then he just pisses off. He does that, but he has a purpose to it now, and that's what's really cool. So, again, for 3 freaking hours, man, there's a lot to cover. Again, maybe I missed the thing with Alfred, who knows, but I really enjoyed this film. In terms of spoilers, that's about it. I think there's really not a whole lot of, it's not like Endgame or The Rise of Skywalker, The Force Awakens, whatever. It's not anything like that. So, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else. So, again, Batman gets an A+. Again, I'm going to have to rewatch it in a few days because I am going with a buddy, like I said. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of give a little bit of a recap on if my opinion's changed, because I'm still trying to process it. The whole Catwoman arc with her friend that was, like, in a bag. I'm like, what the hell's Falcone, Carmichael, or something? Whatever the hell is, he's in the Dark Knight trilogy. Falcone and Cerrone, I don't know, whatever, Macaroni, I don't know. There's a lot of unique things in that where you're like, wow, there's a lot to go over in this film, So once I rewatch it, I'll let you guys know in the community tab if anything changed. But as of right now, the Batman gets an A+. Everything that I talked about, I really can't think of a single negative. A lot of people, again, it's not that funny. There's basically one joke in the whole film, and it's not a laugh out loud joke. It's just, that's it. It's not Aquaman, it's not Birds of Prey, it's not Shazam, it's not a comedy, it's not a feel-good action film. It is a dark, depressing Batman story that is true to the comics, and that's what we've been needing, And I'm excited for it, because that's the beauty about Batman, Batman can be dark and brooding and very mature, like this in the Dark Knight trilogy in the Snyderverse, and then you get, like, Adam West, which is just pure insane cheese, and then you get Lego Batman, which is poking fun at the character in a good self-referential way, and then you get the Lego Batman games and the Arkham games and Injustice and all this crazy shit. There's a lot of Batman materials in there that you get anything you want. You want lighthearted Batman, you got him. You want dark, serious Batman, you got him. You want a little bit of an in-between, you got him. So there's a lot of really awesome stuff in DC, and that's why Batman's my favorite DC hero. This film is the reason why. You know what I mean? There's so much complexity and awesomeness to this film, and I can't wait to rewatch it. Now, again, I'll let you guys update if anything changed, but as of right now, The Batman gets an A+. Tell me in the comments without spoiling what you think down below. And, I'm just going to leave that here. And before I go, I have one quick word from my sponsor, Batman. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.
Duh, 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 duh. Hang on. Okay, now we're good. So you probably just, came back from seeing The Batman, the new movie that came out March 4th. It's pretty cool. And I gotta tell you, man, I was not freaking ready, because you know what they did? Oh, what they did, God. What they did is they essentially took my beautiful body and my voice and my hair and everything, and they just made me look 10 times cooler. I mean, that Robert Pattinson dude, that's not even him, that's me. I am me in the movie. It's incredible what, today's CGI can do, I'll tell you. So, that franchise freak, he did his review. You've already seen it, because that's how life works. But what I'm going to do here, so I'm just going to get, Alfred says I stutter. I don't, I'm just tired. I need to work on my pronunciation. I'm going to call Gordon. Let me see what's going on. Let's see. Will he answer? Who knows? I don't script this shit. I just start doing it. Here we go. I'm going to take a seat now. Here we go. Oh, he better answer. I'm going to punch him in the face.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, Gordon?
Batman, where have you been?
Where have you been?
I've been swamped at GCPD for days on end because this Riddler guy, he's leaving weird messages around the city again.
Again?
Yes, you let them escape all the time. I have like 12 good cops at the GCPD. Everyone else just messes around, and they're corrupt. I need you. Where have you been?
Well, you know what? I gotta ask you the question where you've been, because, I just saw The Batman, the movie, and it's really funny because they made me look, like, really cool and awesome. It's amazing what CGI can do, you're black. When did that happen?
Well, if you actually came down to the precinct, you know what I look like.
Yeah, when did it happen? I don't got nothing against it, but, a week ago you were, pale as sin.
It's stress. The stress living in this city.
Well, then I should be, really, really black.
Batman, what do you want? If you're not gonna help, what do you want?
I wanted to ask your opinion on the movie. Have you seen it? You're in it.
I haven't. I know what did I just say? I haven't seen the movie because I've been solving crimes in the worst city in the United States.
I don't know why people live here.
Well, yeah, I don't know why people live here either.
Yeah.
I'm honestly thinking about just having an early retirement and moving to Metropolis. That super guy seems to have things under control.
Who's Super Guy?
Superman.
Superman.
In the Justice League.
No, I don't work with him no more. He's a. I can't say it actually. I'll get demonetized.
Is this some kind of channel to you? Why don't you work with Superman?
Well, it's a long story. I poisoned it with kryptonite. I put it in his soup or something. He got kind of mad.
I would be too. You're supposed to be like thick as thieves.
Yeah. Funny story. Anyway, since you haven't seen my movie, I'm just gonna hang up because you're not worth my time, Broseph.
My daughter has been bugging me about going to see this movie. I don't know why she cares. I don't know why she looks up to you so much.
Wait a minute. You have a daughter?
Yeah, daughter Bob?
Oh wait, that's your daughter?
Yeah, what do you mean that's my daughter?
Oh shit, this is gonna get kind of awkward. Don't ask her about what we did last night. It's fine. Gordon, calm down. Okay, calm down.
I am having palpitations.
Yeah, I know. Just get some coffee, all right? No, shut up. No. We played Sudoku.
Of all the party games, you could have chosen Jenga or Monopoly or something.
Hey, well, Jenga's for wussies. That's probably why you play it.
Did you hear why they have a Superman version of Monopoly? It's called Metropoly. Yeah, it's made by Lex Luthor. That guy's kind of a weirdo, but, whatever.
Yeah.
Pays the bills.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you do what you can, you know?
You know, he's a multi-billionaire. I don't think he needs board game revenue.
I mean, if I-
He went to Metropolis like 30 times in the last year.
If I wasn't Batman, I'd be doing board games too. Hey, Gordon, can you hear this?
What in God? You know, I don't even want to know what that was, Batman.
Should I tell you?
You're going to anyways. What the hell is so funny?
You!
There's a cop car on fire.
Oh shit, where?
Outside the precinct.
you better take care of that, man. What are you doing talking to me?
Yeah, because our Firefly guy blew up.
What are you doing? Are you joking?
I'm not joking. I'm
Oh.
not joking.
Okay, good. Because I thought you were joking, and you know I was gonna come down and save you, but it's fine.
Why do I work with you?
I don't know. I mean, why do I work with you? You don't do anything.
Maybe if you came out of that stupid Batcave, you'd know what I do. I'm keeping the city afloat.
Yeah.
Doing God knows, seeing movies.
You're keeping the donut shop afloat. Bruce Wayne's too busy being a playboy bachelorette. Bachelor. Cool guy.
I'm gonna ask him for help because I feel like even though he's dumb, I feel like he could be better help than you've been.
Gordon, can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
I can't get off this couch. Can you come get me?
No, you know what? It's all right, Batman.
I use my stomach as a weapon.
I'll call someone else.
That's fine. You know what? Call your mom. I'm sure she'll answer.
Batman.
What?
Call your mom.
funny. Go eat a donut, you fat. The nerve of some people, I swear. Stop laughing. I seriously can't get up. Anyway, subscribe for more. I'm Batman.